Traders, what's up? Welcome back to another Relentless recap. As you're tuning in, be sure to hit that thumbs up if you're an OG viewer. If you're a new viewer, consider hitting the thumbs up towards the end of the video. As well as if you're a new viewer, consider subscribing, all right, to the end of the video as well. Today, we're going to talk about how I was able to make over $4,000 here in one day trading stocks. We're going to also talk about the setups, the patterns, and the strategy that I trade. We're going to talk about areas of opportunity for improvement. We're going to also talk about things that I could have done better in terms of missed opportunities, right? I guess area of opportunities and missed opportunities kind of go together. So, yeah. Um, just remember our disclaimer, which is that day trading is risky. A lot of people are having a hard time, so take it slow if you're in the markets. If you're new, especially, go small. Simulators, get experience, become competent before becoming aggressive. Remember, copy trading does not work. Remember, my results are not typical. And remember, lastly, I do not invest for my subscribers, so be careful of fake accounts and imposter accounts. I will never message you first. All right, let's get into it. Now, I will start off by saying that today is a day I think if I stuck around and traded through and through, I could have potentially been up very, very big in terms of like over 5 figures, right? Because this is day 7, by the way, of road to a 5-figure trader a day, right? A day. My words are all over the place. Yeah. Anyhow, stock MLGO, stock IMTE. These were some of the top two, and then even VVPR also came and had a really powerful move. Man, there was a lot of opportunities today. It's been a long time since we really saw stocks come later in the day, so this is a really good sign. In fact, this makes me want to stick around a little longer throughout the rest of the week to see if maybe we're lucky and this is the beginning of the next hot cycle. Because, it comes in cycles, right? So, VVPR, MLGO, IMTE. Well, we're going to start off with VVPR. I was up 1K on this stock. I did give back profit, so it was a little frustrating. And this stock had me feeling really good. I mean, I felt sensational trading this thing. And so much so that I was going into the chat room talking like one of those crazy people, that believe so much in something, right? And you can see where I started trading it. I was nowhere to be found during this move here. That's because I simply was not here. Throughout some of this uptrend, I was having lunch, finally finished up and came like, okay, let's see how this thing does. And throughout this area here, I was able to get up to 1K. In terms of trades that I took, let's remove this drawing. Let's take off the bubbles. So as you guys know, if you don't, I'm hyper scalping, which means I'm going in and out hundreds of times in one day. And so a lot of the famous patterns that are well known worldwide, I also trade it, but what's different about what I do versus what else is out there is my approach. And I'm really working the chart, really working the trades, utilizing ladder, utilizing level 2, primarily level 2 if I'm to go up here on this other screen, primarily level 2 and time and sales. And a lot of my patterns will consist of the well-known, world-renowned bull flags, bear flags, 3-bar plays, double bottoms, whole dollars, all that good stuff. And so when I started watching it, I was watching this pullback here. We had highs at 394, lows at 360s, and I got long, and this thing curled up nicely all the way to $4. So my very first trade was a really good trade on VVPR. If we're to come over here to the log and just take a quick look, let's see. I'm in at 70, 65. Let's see. Okay, here we go. I get in at 70, and you guys can see my position size was really small here to start, but I'm in at 70, and I'm out at 89. Let's see. I'm out at 89.95. I'm back in at 77, and I looks like I got some out at 97. Not sure what happened with the other position. I did not record, by the way, I did not record all the way through after the initial live stream. I'm trying to think here. It looks like this was a 2K position, or maybe 2.5. We're back out. Anyhow, this trade here is a pretty solid trade. Let's see. This one here a little bit better, and this is at 42, so in at 75 out at 91. We did have some losses, as you guys will see. Some smaller losses, but, you know, again, all in all, pretty good stuff. We kept the size fairly small. I think, you know, one key thing that we have to keep in mind moving forward is that we don't want to go back to flat when we have a nice day. And so that was kind of the mindset there. Like, hey, instead of being ultra aggressive right away, let's try to build a cushion and then get into it rather than just going all out. That way we don't sacrifice our 2-3K that we're up on the day. But pretty good stuff, right? After the first pullback, we made the new high. And then again, we had a bit more of a bigger 5-minute setup here. And I think I could have handled this better because I got stopped out because we made a new low by a couple cents, I think, right here. But ultimately, I think I could have been back in and been more patient to hold throughout this entire move. Instead, I got back in on the uptrend, and we did make some money here after the chop and losing, but we gave back on this flush out, false breakout, and then flush out right here. This is really what got us. And in one trade, we went from green to flat. And why? Because we made a move to 37. We did have a few topping wicks, which was recognized, but the 5-minute chart at the time was extremely bullish. This was our 5-minute chart, right? Big breakout off of this zone right here. And I can pull up the drawing tools, by the way. Big breakout off of this consolidation, right? Red to green. And so it was like, hey, if we can come up, hold our previous levels here, if this dips and we can hold our previous levels, we can more than likely see the red to green. And I guess the pullback ended up just being a little too much right here, because I tried to buy in this area, hoping for a quick bounce. Got cooked in, out. Got murdered here coming down. So that was like a 1K lost, honestly, in one trade. You know, sometimes it happens. And this is where I'm like a little bit more comfortable with the stock using a little bit more size as well, right? So part of the deal, especially if you go slow in the beginning to build a cushion, you get a cushion, you look to risk off of that cushion. And then because of the extra size, the additional size, there's that little bit of an imbalance. So between the two trades, you're not really at a net negative, a net positive rather. You're somewhat at a net negative or at zero. So moving on to IMTE. IMTE. This one, as you guys will see, no trades. Again, another stock that I saw while I was eating lunch, and this is how I knew I had to come back. Like, and it also tells me if I was here, like, ah, beautiful, beautiful move here through VWAP. And by the way, we can pull this up on E-Trade, so you guys can get a better look at the halt levels, because we did get halted a ton of times. Yeah, if I was here, and this is one shout out to the traders who are very consistent in terms of how long they stay here. There's traders who it doesn't matter if the market is cold, in between, hot, they're here from 9 to 4, almost like a full-time job. And I think it is ultimately very rewarding, especially if you're looking to make extra money, right? If you have the discipline in the colder periods to wait and not trade setups that you're not over trade and take bad setups, but you do wait patiently, and on these type of days like this, you can definitely dominate. I mean, look at this red to green, right? For me, I'm not usually watching levels all the way down here, so I doubt I'd be trading this, being that I'm watching at a stock like MLGO or something else. But best believe the moment this gets through the VWAP right here is where it starts to come on the radar, especially over high of day right here. It's hitting new highs. It's hitting the halt scanner right here. And worst case scenario, I'm seeing this thing somewhere here and I can start getting involved. And look at how well it did. It looks like we had a lower resumption and an immediate move back up. Maybe I could be wrong, not sure how the price action was. And then a dip and rip, small dip and rip. I think this one I saw. I saw this one here at 50. Just didn't have the confidence to buy it. I was like a little chicken right here because I'm like, man, I'm now pulling it up. I'm now coming back. This would have been like my first trade of coming back. And I'm like, it's just too aggressive, you know? But if I'm already watching this and you're feeling good, it's like I'm jumping in here for the high of day break right through 50, right? So this ended up pushing up and I didn't touch anything here. But again, I'd like to think I could have done well in this area. All right, moving on to MLGO, the 600-pound silverback gorilla. Because this thing just kept going today. And it is disappointing to see it go this much because, well, let's say it's disappointing to see it go this much and me not being here. It's great to see it going up, but me not being here is the bigger problem because I left out right here. I said this stock was done right here. I thought this thing was done. In this gray area, and I'd say like at the end of the circle really, which was like more like here. Right in this area here, I left out saying this thing is done. Boy, was I wrong. I mean, look at the continued move that it gave, right? Especially if I'm to zoom out. I already had a good rhythm with the stock. I was already in position. And so to not be there sucked. But I did give back off the top, which was also a part of the reason why I left, right? And so we're going to go back from the beginning here. Just for context, this thing started out at $2.50 today, guys. $2.50. Isn't that insane? $2.50 consolidated in pre-market. We had a range of about 310 by 380. We broke out coming into the open, big move up, but then full retracement. Christmas tree, the complete Christmas tree, right up, right down. So we were like, hey, maybe this might not be as strong, but you know, you can never really tell with 100% certainty. So we still kept it on the watch list. And you know what, man? From the open, this thing was just all business. First 1 minute candle to make the new high for a high of day here into the open. Rips up to 437. Pre-market highs are at 487. So it's like, hey, if this thing happens to be strong, perhaps 487 could be the first target. And really and truly, we made a very, very strong move. We pushed up to 68. And we then had this consolidation. And I think, again, areas of opportunity for me, this is definitely one of them. On our earlier pullbacks here, I did not attempt a single trade. And it's because I thought the stock was extended. We went from 390 to 470, and the pullback was at 430. We had a 30-cent pullback after basically almost like a dollar share move. And because I studied so much of the stocks that are getting halted up and down with a massive range, I was reluctant to buy anything here. And that was a problem because I missed out. I mean, just to put a dollar amount, I probably missed out on like I mean, it's hard to quantify. At least like 6,000, I'd say. I missed out on at least 6, and I'm saying that because something to keep in mind is that when you're taking all these trades early on the pullback, and you're able to capitalize, the confidence boost that you get when the stock continues, it's just insane, right? It's like compounding interest almost. So it's hard to even quantify a dollar amount really. And then this thing breaks out. I think I was in here and I sold early on this green candle too. Man, this was a brutal trade. So at 946, I'm pretty sure I was in. This is one of like the 3 areas where I took a trade a little late. It's not quite the lows, but I'm in. And then I sold, let's see, 47. I'm in at 72 at 47. Let's see, 72. Yeah, and so what was the high? 85. So after the lows, what was the low? 65. It makes a new high and rips. And I'm not comfortable holding this trade because I'm a little higher for the breakout, right? So again, reluctant to take the lows, and also that then leading to some hesitation at the highs, right? But it's usually break or bail, so keeping to that right there. All right, so from there we pushed up all the way to 536. 536. And then again, from 536, we pulled back to a low of 490. And maybe again, I think I was maybe in my own head a little too much because I still didn't take any of the pullbacks here. And then when this one came, which was what more of what I was looking for, it was at the end of this consolidation, and I thought it was failing. The 5 minute candle comes in at this time, it's red. And like, man, this doesn't look good. And this is like essentially what I wanted to see a little earlier in the move, but it's a little too late. And I then hesitate on this type of trade, missed the move going up, and there's a brutal cycle. And then it happened again. If I'm to map out these three candles here, so reluctant to take dips here, reluctant to take a dip here, and then when the extended dip came, we can put this in like a square so it stands out a little bit more. When the extended dip came on these consolidations, they came later in the move, later in the consolidation, as in like the new candle, when the new candle is just cooking us, man. So throughout all of this, it's just basically missed gains, missed profits, and it really wasn't up until I believe like 10:30 and onwards. Between 10:30, let's see, 10:30, and I think I made money between this area here. Probably, let's see, I think between this area is where we really made our money. We made 4,000. We got up to 4,000 right there, and then lost 1,500 off the top into this chop right here, and we'll talk about that in a sec. So the stock had a high of 637, pulled back all the way to 553. This is at 1042. Let's just see how we did in terms of let's see, 1040. Let's see. 1050. Well, it looks like a 1050. Hold on, 1050. We have to find where those trades came. Let's see. We had a couple of nice trades. 11. Oh, wait, hold on. 11. Was it? So it might not have been all the way till 11. 11:02. And then, bro, I'm telling you guys, like the amount of money that like a flawless version of myself today is up 50,000 on this stock. A better version that is more aggressive towards every one of those pullbacks, up 25K. A version of myself that doesn't leave after the losses is up at least 12,000. And then here's the version of me that basically missed everything, left, came back. It's like I kind of have to roll my eyes because so much of it is like could be prevented or be improved. So we had this trade here, and then I think there's like another trade that we had. So we had this one as well in at like 23 average, out at 50. And this trade we sold a little soon because the moment we sold around 50, it kept going to new highs at 65 and so forth. A small trade here off of 50 up to 76. This is where we really built our day. In at 84, out at 90, and you can see I'm carrying a share here. I think I'm carrying shares from like a previous trade perhaps. Let's see, and we get caught with a loss here at 11:08. So that's on this candlestick right here when we flush down. The lows were at 22, And you can see I didn't really get a chance to get back in. And this is crazy because I stopped out at the bottom of the freaking move. Time 5, 6, 7, 8. So this candle on the 5 is closing. And this is the problem at times, right? When we get the bigger pullback towards the end of the candlestick, it's just looking terrible on the chart for a bigger pullback. So that's why I cut this type of trade here. But let's see. All in all, I think later in the move, let's see. This is VVPR. Later in the move, and by the way, we might have had another loss somewhere. We had two big losses towards the very end, in around I think it was 770s. This right here, in at 75 out at 43, and then there was another one in at 75 out of 58. And these two trades were the same trades here. Same like trade idea for a potential reversal off of this small, somewhat miniature pullback slash bear flag here. Both of these two topping wicks I bought here and I bought here, thinking these would be green candles going all the way up to a new high again. Instead, I got blazed twice for 1,500. So that's how I gave back towards the end of the stream. But I thought it looked good. I'm like, I figured, hey, if we can break over this level, this thing will hold and continue. And I got cooked both times. And so again, this is where I left right here, not knowing that this would be the outcome of that. So very disappointing to miss. I think two key areas. I don't think I would have touched the stock down here. I just highly doubt it. But after this move up, there's a high chance I'd have been watching this consolidation. Look at this bottoming wick. Look at this 3-bar play. Look at this big move. Look at this 3-bar play. Look at this baby pullback. Look at this flag into a breakout again. Like, this definitely was, I mean, especially if you're to like really be watching this and like just going at it from early, like in this, if I saw this stock here, if I saw this stock right here on this candle, chances are I would have like killed this move, man. But if you're not here, there's not much you can do. And then here's a consolidation with a bigger range, and then it breaks out, continues, just absolute beauty. Absolute beauty. And then this last uptrend here I did trade, and we made back the 1,500. In fact, we were up like 5,000 plus, and we got caught in one of these red candles somewhere along the line. I think this one, I ate this full candlestick pretty much, which was just brutal. I think maybe not the full candlestick, but in at like 1480, looking for the new high, and out at like 14 something, like 1410. So that was like a pretty brutal loss. Brutal. But yeah, and that was all it wrote. I was on the phone with Big Steve in this consolidation. I did not trust it, but he trusted it, and it curled up. That was like a pretty crazy move. I think on this candle I got from 99 to 1460. But it wasn't enough to recover because of how big the loss was here. I think I had more size on this candlestick going down versus coming back up. But yeah, I mean, it was a pretty decent day, especially if you stuck around and really stuck with it. But I'm grateful for the green. Again, I think all of this for me is just confirmation, because there's certain things that I've tweaked with the strategy a little bit, like just trying to be a little bit better at bigger picture stuff. I mean, there's always risks, right? Stocks can flush down, and I think bigger losses will definitely happen as well. But I think there are going to be a lot of days where we can make 10,000 in one trade. There's going to be risk. There's always risk. Life is risky. Everything we do is risky. Deciding to go buy a house in Florida versus California, there's risk, pros and cons, wildfires, hurricanes, alligators, right? there's pros and cons to everything, right? And so I think the key is to continue to just take A quality opportunities and look to improve. So yeah, hit that thumbs up, subscribe. I'll catch you guys later.